Whoa! So if you're looking for a good looking CPU cooler, I've got something really cool for you. Come take a look. But first, a message from our sponsor. The Darkbase 900 may be the most innovative case of the year with a built-in Qi charger, interior lighting, tempered glass that can be installed on either side, and a fully modular interior that can be inverted if you so desire. Be quiet. Stepping up their game, check it out in the description below. And so what we got today for you are the new liquid all-in-one coolers from NZXT, the X62 and the X52, with a premium price that reflects its superiority over the previous generation and comes with the same 6-year warranty. Feature set between these two is identical. We have dual fans included per cooler, there are new ARP radiator fans, gone are the wide-bladed fans, we have all the same mounting hardware, tube length is the same, and even the thickness of the radiators is the same at 30mm, one is just bigger at 280mm versus the more common 240mm radiator. Now what NZXT is bringing to the table is a fantastic new physical element to the CPU block with this infinite mirror design and a load of lighting options to properly support this RGB goodness. So the new coolers now have braided tubing, which also apparently is stronger compared to the previous generation where the tubes were plain rubberized, and I actually prefer the tube design on the X61, but at least they've maintained the thinner tubing, which is much easier to bend compared to the really thick ones on the H100 V2. But no doubt, the CPU block is now a lot more attractive and capable. It is a much taller body now too, but still shorter than the Intel stock cooler by 7mm. All of the cables are now detachable. That makes installation easier, having no cables dangling around as you lower the CPU block. And interestingly, the cables are no longer sleeved like we saw on the X61, making them easier to hide. A total of 4 PWM fans are supported on the hub, giving full fan control for push-pull options, and there isn't much anything else to say aside from showing you the bottom of the CPU block that has thermal paste pre-applied. Installation was identical to many AIOs you can buy today. On my X99 system, I even left the Corsair standoffs from the H100 IV2 that are identical, while on my Skylake machine, replacing the X61 did not require any additional mounting hardware. Now, so what's really cool about the CPU block is that infinite loop and the interior and also the exterior reflections, creating this interesting depth effect with those light rings inside. Especially when you view it on an angle, we have the depth effect more visible, and I love the transparency of the top surface when the lights are on, plus how well the NZXT text is integrated into that center. It's very clean, you don't see any wiring, and this 2-zone lighting system works really well that encourages some serious light play to make sure that these coolers fit with your build perfectly. Full control is enabled through CAM software, which brilliantly highlights the consistency of their entire ecosystem. Here you have control curves for the fans and the pump, and which temperature variable controls the speed, which in my case is the CPU. So first I swapped out the X61 out of my own system and replaced it with the X62 to see if the cooler is quieter at full load and what type of temperatures we would get. I used the same thermal paste for both coolers to keep things even, and this is what the X61 sounds like at full load. And now I've swapped out for the X62 cooler and it's much quieter. Now, something to keep in mind is that comparing CPU temperatures over time, and there's practically no difference. Maybe the groupings for core temperatures is a little bit tighter on the X62, but at much lower pump speed. So here the new pump design shows off what it can do at lower RPM. Next, I wanted to test the X52 inside the S340 Elite and compare it to the H100 IV2, which is one of the more popular AIOs. At full load, they sounded about the same, and our 4 GHz 6800K remained on average at 64 degrees Celsius, with the X52 giving us a slightly less fluctuating curve. And so as a performance upgrade, X62 and X52 might offer only marginal improvements over your previous 280 or 240mm all-in-one cooler. But in the case of my system, in my upgrade, it is now much quieter compared to the X61 cooler, and this really highlights that the whole coolness factor of this new mirror design on top of the pump. So let me show you all the lighting effects that are plenty and they're awesome. Let's go inside cam. All right, so now we're inside cam. The first thing I want to show you guys is CPU usage. Right now it's hovering under 2%, which is pretty good. Initially when I installed it, it was 30%, but a firmware update fixed that. So if you're having problems with high CPU usage, make sure to update your firmware. So I really like the way this is laid out. So here you can change performance mode from silent to performance mode or fixed mode, something that you determine yourself. If you want to go configure that, you can either click this button here, or you can go into tuning, and here we can go into edit fans, which I've showed you guys before. Now let's talk about the lighting, which is one of the coolest things you can do with this cooler. So first thing, you can select logo or ring LED. Once they're both selected, only effects that are going to be cohesive with both LED zones are shown. So for example, if I choose breathing and I choose this red color, save changes, you immediately see what that reflects on the actual cooler. And I love that all these colors are pretty accurate. So if you're selecting something like in this area, like it would actually show you that color on the cooler itself if you want to go green, and the colors are quite accurate. So here we have these fading effects, and you can add more colors. It's all intuitive. You can move colors around, and this is controlling both right now, the logo and the ring LED. I really like this one. This one looks cool, and it's quite uniform in terms of how things are being fading out and stuff. This one is pulse. I really like how NZXT in the middle first comes up and then the fades away, and then the ring comes around. So you can also, let's add maybe like a blue, so it gives us a nice different effect. That's awesome. And the spectral wave, I don't really like this one because it's not very uniform. It's kind of chaotic, and you can change the speed. And look what happens when the slowest speed. Right now it's not uniform, it's kind of jerky. But what I like to do is just select my logo LED and then choose a solid color for you. So maybe like a nice blue here. And then we have these effects on this one. Deselected, go to ring LED. So now we're only changing color for the ring LED, and I really like the water cooler. This is a really cool one. So let's save it. You can see how it's rotating with the colors, and it's very uniform. You can also go into Tai Chi and select which color you want. So maybe like a purple and an orange. Save changes. And that looks fantastic. If you go into loading, this is the default one, and this is the most uniform in terms of how it changes. So that looks amazing, and really loving the purples here, and also the yellows are quite accurate. I mean, all the colors are accurate, but I really love the way purple just looks through there. If you go into the smart stuff, you can select color based on temperature or your FPS or GPU temperature, and audio. That will just, this is the level of the loudness. And will change based on color. It's a little bit chaotic, so I would just recommend to sticking to these presets. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this new pump cooler mirror design for LEDs. I'm happy to see proper RGB implementation inside a CPU cooler. It's quite interesting to see where we will go next in this category. But I'm Dimitri with Canucks. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.